Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be replacing the rear brake caliper on a 2014 Honda Civic. I'm going to walk you through the steps on that. It's pretty straightforward. There's only a few tools that are needed, and I've got the part and I'll walk through all. Alright, so some of the tools you're going to need are 1/2-inch drive socket. You're going to need a 14 millimeter for that. I also used an extension and a universal joint to get that lower caliper bolt as well. You're probably going to need a screwdriver to pry some things off. I used the adjustable pliers here to get off the emergency brake cable. And then I have these are brake line clamp or fuel line clamps. This is going to clamp the brake line so you lose all your brake fluid while you're doing this. And then you're going to lose some of it, so you want to have some brake fluid on hand to refill that. Alright, so we've got the wheel off, the car jacked up, and here you can see my old brake caliper. This one's kind of seized up, so the piston is pushing on the brake pad. I'm going to replace this, and down here you can see that we've got the brand new brake caliper. This is a Honda part. It cost me about $200 online. If you have this done at the shop at the Honda dealership, they're going to charge you about $750 for the whole process. So you can definitely save some money here. This one's got the brake, it's got the caliper bracket already attached. It's got everything good to go. The only thing you need is the brake pads, and we're going to hook up the brake line here and the emergency brake. So the first thing we're going to do is start removing it from the bracket. There are some 14 millimeter bolts right back here, so I'm going to put the wrench on that and take the top and bottom one out. What I'm going to do is actually put a brake line clamp on here to hold this. I don't want to lose all the fluid out, so I've got these special clamps, and they ratchet up and they will hold them by themselves on there, so that keeps it pinched so that you don't lose the fluid. And then I'm going to take the brake line. Alright, we've got the brake line off. The next thing we're going to do is remove this parking brake cable. So we've got to loosen up the we've got to get this part off of this little hook here. So we're gonna turn it this way towards us with the spring. Turn it this way and just pull this right off. And I need 2 hands to do that. There we go. Okay, so the last piece we need to do before we take off the caliper is remove the parking brake cable. And to do that, there is a slide clamp right here. And it's really just a matter of taking a screwdriver, so we can see that. I'm going to have 2 hands to do this one, and so I'll show you, but we're going to do that, and we're going to just pry it out this way. So, and it's kind of loose now. There, I got that off. And the cable should be able to, well, we're going to twist it, and then it's going to come down through, there's a hole here where we're going to take the cable. All right. I'm going to take in some pliers and get it on there and twist this so we can get it down through that hole. You can see how that's turning now. And once I get it loose, there, I can pull the hole down thing through there. So we'll take the caliper off. Okay, now we've got the parking brake cable. This is the new caliper. We got the parking brake cable removed out of here, and we removed the end of the parking brake cable off of here. The brake line's going to go into here, and the only other thing we need to do to remove this is take the bracket off. So there's two 14mm bolts on the back of the old caliper, right here and here, and we're going to remove those, and then we can put this new one on. Okay, I loosened that up, so that's the top one I'm taking out, and then I'll have to probably get the other one from the bottom. I can take this one out by hand now, and then I have to take the other bracket bolt out from the bottom. So that's what's going to come out of there. Alright, so the other bracket bolt is right here. It's a matter of getting the wrench on there. This one might be too big. I'll have to get another one on there. The head of the socket so I'm going to use an extension to be able to get this one off. Okay, I went ahead and got an extension on my wrench and put a universal joint in here too. You can probably do it with a smaller one, but I like the 1/2-inch drive one because it's a lot of torque on these. So now I can reach that, and I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Okay, so my brake caliper is loose. Go ahead and pull the old one off. You can see there, and on you can swap over the old brake pads. Just take these out here. Take the brake pads out and swap them over to the new caliper, and then we'll be ready to put it in. Go ahead and put my new brake pads in here. Just slide them under there. Might have to push down the retaining spring here, which is the gold spring. Push that down in order to slide those pads in. You get them tucked in there. The one with the wear sensor goes on the inside. The other one goes on the outside. And you can see we got enough room in here for the rotor to go through. So now I'm going to go ahead and fit that on there and then tighten up, put the caliper bolts back in. You can see I've got the bracket on here. I'm putting the top bolt in. Once I get that on, I'm going to tighten it up and well, put the bottom one in, but tighten them both. And I got the top one in. I was putting the bottom caliper bolt in. Then I will tighten them up. The next thing I'm going to do is then feed the parking brake cable back up through here after I tighten those in, and then hook it over the clamp. Okay, I got those tightened up, and I fed this back through here. Make sure that you have enough, you have it all the way through here so that this this can slide under here in that slot. I'll put a little bit more light on it here for you. So you can see that that's got to be pushed all the way in. I don't know if I can do it with my hands, but I might have to get some pliers. I'm going to push that in so it wedges up there. All right, we got that through the bottom there. The last thing again we got to do is twist this down enough so we can get this back on here, and now we got that on there. And the last thing we're going to do is reconnect the brake line that we took off. We've got it clamped off here still, but we're going to take there's a little plastic plug here, and we got to put the washer back on. And so there's a washer here that goes on, and then the bolt goes back in there. So get that out of the way so you can see. So we're going to bolt that back in, and then we're the last thing we got to do is get the brake fluid in. Okay, so the last step I'm really not going to include in the videos. This is bleeding the brake lines. So what I'm going to do is, this is the brake bleeder nozzle here. I have a power bleeder that's going to attach to here, and it's actually going to suck the brake fluid all the way through the line. You may not have that, so you should probably watch a video on how to bleed your brake lines before you start, to make sure you're comfortable with the whole process. Depending on what process you have or what tools you have in order to bleed them, you may need 2 people to do this, but make sure you understand how to do that first. Hopefully, since I clamped off my lines, I'm not going to have to pull too much brake fluid. I lost a little bit here. You can see a little puddle on the floor there, but I'm going to have to suck the air out with the bleeder and pull it out through there. And so that's it. Once you do that, then everything should go well. You just need to test your brakes, make sure you have all the air out of your brake lines.